Hello and welcome. I'm Janine. This is Janine Sews. Today I have a few different things to share with you because it's been a few weeks since my last Friday sews and I've been busy sewing. The first thing I'm going to share with you is another Concord tee that I made, and I'm including how I adjusted the tee so it fits my Armscye better. Then I have at least 3 other projects to show you rather quickly. And then we'll catch up a little bit about what's been going on and keeping me off camera. In this video, as in most of my videos, I've got chapter links down below. So if you want to skip to something else, you want to skip forward, you can. Or if you really enjoyed what I said and you want to skip back, you can as well. Today's video is going to be a little bit random because I've been sewing a lot of things over the last few weeks. I'm going to try to keep this as cohesive as possible, but you'll see I'm going to be jumping around a little bit. The first thing I want to talk about is the Cashmerette Concord tee. In May, I went to a class with Ron Collins, and I asked him to help me improve the fit of the Cashmerette Concord tee, because I've made a few of them, and I wasn't necessarily thrilled with the fit. I thought I was doing everything right to select the sizes, but I'm just going to slide over here, because I'm going to pop up a picture here of the 2 that I made this winter, and they just don't fit right. There's a lot of bunching underneath the arms. I didn't like that. And so when I was in Ron's class, he said, I think that we need to make one change to make this fit better. And that was to add length at the Armscye, because it was coming up too high, which was causing all kinds of gathers and creases under the arm. It didn't mean the bust was too small. It just meant there was not enough fabric to go around underneath my arm. But without further ado, I'm just gonna pop in the video of me cutting out the t-shirt. And when I'm cutting out the t-shirt, you can very clearly see where I added length to the pattern pieces. This is the Cashmerette Concord pattern that has been adjusted to add more length in the Armscye because it was too short for me, and because the Armscye was too short, it kind of got jammed up underneath my arm and there was always a crease. So we added, let's see here, ½ inch. This right here is ½ inch that was added, and ½ inch was added to the back at the exact same place, and ½ inch was added to the sleeve at the exact same place, because the sleeve has to match, of course, the Armscye. So ½ inch added to the front, to the back, and to the sleeve at the same place. The second problem that I had is a little bit too much skin. So the seam of the arm, of the sleeve, was coming a little bit too far in on my bodice because I've got a little more flesh there. So this purple line here, that was the original seam line for my size, and this white piece here is what was added, and that is 3/8 of an inch that was added, and it was just tapered, and that doesn't impact the sleeve, especially because this is a knit. The other adjustment that you can see here is I have made this 2 inches shorter. A little bit more than 2 inches shorter because I find it's too long. So when I cut it, I'll just kind of grade through there. So those are the adjustments to the Cashmerette Concord. I've since made 2 t-shirts with those changes. I've shown them to you before, but I'm just going to pop up pictures here so you can see the difference that that one small alteration made. Now, these t-shirts all look different because they're different fabric. And the t-shirt that I cut out in that demonstration there was also a different fabric. Now we're going to kind of move into the second part of the Cashmerette Concord tee, which is the actual project, which wasn't just the t-shirt. So here's the t-shirt. This is the back of it. And this one is a much drapier, lighter weight knit. And it isn't quite as, it's stretchy, but it doesn't have the same recovery as some of the other fabrics that I've used. In particular, the winter white and the green. Those fabrics have more recovery. This one doesn't have as much recovery, so it fits a little bit different. So this t-shirt, here's the front of it. I made it with the V-neck. Here's the t-shirt. It's an embroidered t-shirt. And it fits very well, but because the fabric's different, it's a lot drapier. I may have added a smidge onto the waist and the hips. I sometimes do that depending on how I'm feeling the day that I cut out a pattern. This top was made for a costume party. Yeah, I made a black t-shirt for a costume party. So this year, another costume party, and the theme was Las Vegas. I really don't like putting a lot of time, energy, and money into sewing something for an event and only wearing it once. So this year I decided to be a little bit more pragmatic and made myself something I would wear again, which is this black t-shirt. But because it was a costume party and I wanted to do something to commemorate the event, I embroidered on this t-shirt. And you can see it says, Married in Las Vegas. It was a Las Vegas theme party. And I told my friend that if I could fit into my wedding dress, I would have worn it because I got married in Las Vegas. So my husband and I decided we would just go as your typical visitors to Las Vegas who don't get dressed up in fancy dresses and don't wear showgirl headdresses. We just wear regular old clothes because it's hot in Las Vegas and you're schlepping around. So I made myself this t-shirt and I did the little bit of embroidery on it. And then for my husband, I offered to make him a t-shirt and he said, don't bother. Why don't you just embroider something on something that I have in my closet? So I did. He had, this is like a, a Costco outdoors shirt. And he picked out his own embroidery pattern. And it's cards and aces. It was a very dense embroidery pattern. So you can see the puckering. I used 2 layers of stabilizer, it's still puckered. So we went as just your typical tourists in Las Vegas, and we were super comfortable. We had fun at the party, and I didn't spend a lot of time or money sewing things that will never be worn again. We do go to a local casino occasionally and have a meal, and I spend a few dollars at the slot machines. And I would wear this. I'd wear that black t-shirt anywhere. I mean, it's nothing bizarre. So, 2 birds with 1 stone. I made another Cashmerette Concord tee, and I played around with my embroidery machine. Digging back a few weeks ago, this is lots of catch up to do. A few weeks ago, I told you that I was going to enter something into the Calgary Stampede Creative Arts and Crafts competition, and I did. That was a month ago. Gosh, it's been over a month. So I made another pair of Cashmerette Creston jeans. But here they are. They've been to the Stampede. I did not win anything. I got nice comments from the judges. Nothing I didn't know, but nice comments from the judges. Didn't win anything. Now I've got my jeans home and I'm just waiting for the weather to cool off so I can wear them. I have made 2 other pairs of Creston jeans. I'm going to link them up above. The second time I made the Creston jeans, I made them in a Ron Collins class, and he gave me fantastic tips for sewing jeans. That video is here. Here they are. And this is a stretch denim. It's got a lot of poly in it from Fabricland. Very basic front. But here's the feature. Embroidery. And a little tag. A little Canadian flag tag on the back there. And then on the inside, I just used quilting cotton for the waistband and the pockets. Otherwise, these were sewn exactly the same as the last pair of Creston jeans that I made. The pair that were winter white, that the Ron Collins jeans tips video included. So, made these jeans, like them. Ready to move on to a different jean pattern though. I think I want to make jeans that are, these are kind of like a little longer than ankle length. I think I want to make jeans that are going to be good to wear with boots in colder weather and that have like traditional jean pockets. This pattern has slash pockets. I do have the Cashmerette jean pattern. What is it? Ames jean? Whatever the Cashmerette jean pattern is. I know a lot of people love the ginger jeans. If you feel strongly about a particular jeans pattern, I want to use stretch denim, then please pop your suggestion, your favorite, in the comments down below. I showed you a few weeks ago some double gauze that I got in a mystery box from Core Fabrics, and I asked for suggestions and you all gave so many good suggestions, and a lot of people said make cropped pants or make pants. I had 2 yards of fabric and there were a couple little flaws in it, and I thought about making cropped pants. And because the fabric is so dark, it's this dark burgundy, when I envisioned it in my own mind, the juxtaposition between a very dark wide leg pant and my not necessarily shapely calves, I didn't think was going to be super attractive. And I didn't have enough for full length pants, so I made a skirt. Just finished this the other day. The pattern is New Look 6271. I wanted to find a pattern that had a couple of gathered layers on it. And the ones that I found all needed more fabric. So this one was gathered. There is a gathered option. It needed, let's see here. It needed another yard of fabric and I just didn't have it. So I made just a basic skirt. What I changed though is I added pockets on the front, and I have not even tried this on yet. Well, I've tried it on, but not hemmed. So I'm going to try it on and pop in a little video of me wearing it. I liked working with the double gauze. It was a little bit stretchy, as you all know. So on the pockets and on the hem, because I wanted things to not stretch, I used Steam-A-Seam, which is so slick and it really helps to keep things where you want them to be. So this was a super fast, very simple little make. And I'm only showing it to you to close the loop on this pattern. Finally for the makes. The top that I am wearing. which is the Itch to Stitch Solar Top. And so many of you said that you really liked this pattern. And again, this was only the second time I used an Itch to Stitch pattern, and I very much liked this. I was worried about the sizing for it because I don't know how their tops fit. So I did a pivot and slide when I made this. I didn't want the shoulders to be too big, but I knew I wanted more ease through the bust. So I did a pivot and slide, and I think it fits quite well. I like the elastic that's gathered here because it takes a pretty pedestrian garment and adds a little bit of style to it. I loved how Itch to Stitch installed this V neck. If you have not looked at these patterns, what she does that's a little bit different. You know when you sew a V in a knit and they'll say stay stitch around the V and clip to the stay stitch. And one of the patterns I looked at the other day said stay stitch at 3/8 of an inch, but you were sewing the actual neckband at 1/2 inch. Well, Itch to Stitch, she has you stay stitch on the seam line, and then you clip to it, and then you start out sewing the neckband right at the V. You don't start at the back and you work your way around. You start at the V and then you stop and you pin the rest of the neckband and you stitch it on. And this V went in perfectly. I love the way that she has you do the stay stitching on the stitching line. So when you stitch the neckband to the front of the bodice, if you stitch from the bodice side, you just stitch right on that line of stitches and you get a really nice, neat V. What I neglected to do when I made this top, although she says that it's quite short, I don't know what I was drinking, but I thought it was going to be long enough for me, and it was so short. I had a little bit of fabric left. I thought about doing a faced hem, but that wasn't going to be enough. So I wound up just adding a band on the bottom. There's a 2-inch band here, and it looks okay. And I think this is a good length. I like this length for tops. I used to always wear tops longer, but I'll tell you why I like this length, because this hits at a point where I'm actually getting smaller. So it gives the illusion that I'm smaller here, like it's just hanging straight down from the bust and I'm smaller. That's my theory. I don't think it can be proven by science, but I just know that when I look at myself in a mirror, this is the length that I like things to be. So I have written on the pattern pieces that they need to be lengthened a good 2 inches. Next time I'll make it longer, I won't have to add a band. This is a very fast make. It's a cute little top. It doesn't use a lot of fabric. So it's a good find for the summer. I had a couple of weeks when I had zero sojo. I was getting nothing done. I had a hard time coming into the sewing room. And I have committed to all kinds of challenges. So I had to get some things done because I do not like backing away from a challenge. So last weekend I took like a day and a half and I just cleared out my sewing room. There's still a ton of stuff here, but I reorganized some things. I threw out a few works in progress that were halfway done, could not be salvaged, and honestly, I didn't care if I ever saw them again. So I threw them in the trash. Done with them. Quit weighing on me. Then I went through my fabric. At the beginning of the year, I said I was going to be down 30 meters of fabric, I think, by the end of the year. I have not made very good progress on that. So I joined the Whole 30 Fabric Challenge, which started on August 7th or 9th. And the goal is to not buy any more fabric until you have gotten rid of 30 meters of fabric. I am going to need fabric for the fall and winter, and I do want to actually commit to this and fulfill this pledge that I made. So the first thing that I did is I pulled fabric out of my closet and I donated it. We had a Calgary Sews meetup on Tuesday night, and I took 16 meters of fabric with me and I gave them away. People were very happy to have this fabric. It was stuff I was never going to sew. Mostly work type fabric or stuff where the color and print is awful on me. Gave that stuff away, which gave me a really great kick in the pants. Made some space in my closet so I can see what I've got. I cleaned out a lot of things, reorganized my little cubbies, and that gave me a huge burst of energy to start sewing a few things. I'm going to give you a little bit of a teaser for something that I am working on. That's one of the challenges that I'm involved in. And that is part 2 of the Busy Bee Sewing Challenge. So I'm just going to pop in this teaser that I made when I was working on this challenge the other day. I am popping in with a sneak peek for part 2 of the Busy Bee Sewing Challenge. Part 2 is the Transformation Challenge, which I'm working on right now. I've been to a charity shop. I picked up a few things. Here's something that's going to be part of my transformation. So come back on August 28th when I will reveal what I've made and if I was in fact successful or if it was a total disaster. There is a part 3 to the Busy Bee Sewing Challenge that's going to be due at the end of September. Before then, I've signed up for another challenge in September that's being hosted by Tomcat Stitchery, so you're going to have to wait and see about that one. But I also have frock tails. 3 weeks from tomorrow. So I've got a stack of stuff here, plus one other piece of fabric in the closet. And all of these are things that I want to get done in the next 6 weeks. Now, one of these pieces of fabric, I won't say which one, is my frock tails dress. I have the pattern picked out and I'm going to work on the toile this weekend. I'm trying to not be my usual procrastinatory me and just sew things now. I've got a list of stuff that I want to have done, and because something isn't going to be worn until September 7th, I don't have to wait until September 6th to sew it. I can sew it on August 17th if I want. So that's the mindset I kind of have. And there are all these projects. Most of them are not very complicated. I just want to do a good job and make sure things fit well. Sewing plans. What has been going on in life? Well, I've had to spend a fair bit of time making new friends at the dentist's office. How many times have I been there? 5 or 6 times in the last 3 weeks. All good. Had to have a root canal redone, new crown, all of that stuff. But it's taken a fair bit of time out and just been kind of a pain. And it's not really the way I want to spend my summer days. We went to that party that I told you about. Football games are going on that we go to, going to water aerobics, generally just trying to enjoy every summer day. And I set a goal to spend at least 30 minutes a day outside in the great outdoors, even if it's sitting in the shade and just reading a book or having a meal. It just seems like 2 days ago I said that summer was coming, and this week on the Weather Network they were talking about how bad the winter is going to be. You know, I would love to just enjoy summer for like a month. And I know a lot of you who live in the UK and other parts of Canada feel the same way. This has not been much of a summer. I'm not writing it off yet because we're just into the middle of August, but Gosh, I hope I get to wear more of my summer clothes, and if I'm making summer things, I still get to wear them. That's what's been going on in my world. I know this was a very random, rambling video, but I promised myself that I would appear here and get a Friday Sews done in spite of having just all kinds of crazy little things that I've been sewing. I hope the Concord tee information was helpful. If it was unclear, please let me know and I will redo it. A few people have asked about increasing or doing an FBA on a princess seam top. I am working on that, hopefully in the next few weeks, might be a couple months, but I do have that on the list of things to do soon. Thanks so much for spending time with me and listening to my babbling. I hope you are well and you're planning a wonderful weekend doing something fun, even if it's just having an ice cream or an iced tea in the shade. Take care, and I will see you again really soon.